Hello everyone, welcome. This is Arcaea. It's I've played it before. It's a rhythm game, but a very good one with an in-depth story. And this is actually the side story of a girl named Lavinia, if I remember correctly. And I started reading a bit of it on the live stream and realized that it's actually worth its own video because it's way more in-depth than the other ones so far with just this one first part. And I have 2 parts unlocked. So we're going to get into it right away. Let's go. It's early evening. Outside, the twilight amber flowing out from the sun tries to slip by without pause. But the devices within the surrounding meadows catch and spool it, changing it to rays more similar to what might be cast from the moon. The party has a certain atmosphere, though there are no eyes without the manner. The fact is, maintaining an image is paramount to those upper echelons. She knows this, all of this, innately, sitting in a darker place, with sunlight captured and held at ceilings and staircases presently beyond her reach. She considers the implications of this knowledge in calm and in silence. Lavinia. She looks up from her wine glass. The fiancé, dressed very well, almost stuffily, but in casual posture, is standing before her. There isn't actually any wine in that glass, is there? She looks at it through her one proper eye. She answers, "It's cider, Donovan." "Good," he says with a smile. Looking out toward the rest of the room, she looks at his expression blankly. He smirks. "Among the rest say a little wine is good," he says, glancing at her again. "It's a load of nonsense, I tell you. Have you ever seen a drunk man?" She thinks, wincing. "I haven't." "Well then, let it remain that way." He chuckles, then turns away. "I'll go speak with Morgan. Join us whenever you like." She nods, and Donovan moves to their mutual childhood friend near the fireplace. As always, images need to be maintained. The fire throws its light only a few feet out from the pit, before the threads of it are wound away, stored into lanterns on the floor. The rest of the room is dark, but comforting. It is a setting to relax within. A few lanterns above, just enough illumination for reading, seeing each other's faces, and the spread of carefully selected portions of food, along with bottles of drink. Just outside the room, through half-glass walls, an almost untamed scene of wildflowers, stones, and streams is dimly visible, wrapped in a midnight blue, almost like Satan. Satin. There are 20 guests at the party, half in this room, the rest in the halls or somewhere in other studies, perhaps a library. This is as much as she knows. She drinks her cider, tastes it. She notes that it has a taste at all, not having had much experience with cider herself. She recalls something about a better taste and sensation, but in the moment now, she is compelled to focus on the burn along her tongue. Overall, quite unpleasant. That is her determination. She puts the glass down on the fanciful doily of the short table beside her. She sits, listens, and watches, touching the flower petals blooming from her other eye rather absently. She hears Donovan say, "But you think they've done so much already? When I first heard of the idea, I was sure it wasn't possible." Well, Charles, it is quite sure it is. Charles is quite sure it is, says another of the guests, not Morgan, but Nathalia. "Astounding," Donovan grants, running his finger through the top of his hair. "A whole entire world, made by human hands," he says. "Mankind is quite something." Are they not human? Are they not a human? I know there was some misspeaks, but again, I've never read this before. I mean, I read the first part, but not like just a little bit of it. So here we go, part 2, or V2. Her eye had wandered to the flickering of a lantern, and now it seeks the expectant husband. She reaches for her glass and takes a sip. It's enough to make her remember why she had put it down in the first place. The matter of a created world is only really a fickle fancy of theirs. They do not discuss it much. They do not much understand it. What little they might have to say of true interest. She can't, in fact, properly remember. Irritating at times. It even feels to her like they aren't speaking at all. The girl grows impatient. She stands and passes out of the sitting room into more lavish, more evening-themed halls, passing rooms with which she's familiar, but only vaguely. She explores, finding stretches of unlit, pitch-black paths and doors that seem to be locked through their knobs, though their knobs bear no holes for unlocking. What doors are open show rooms of few men and women, each chatting too quietly to discern. If they ever notice her presence, they only look her way a moment before returning to conversation or rest. She wants to go outside. The manor has some technological sophistication to it, but is married to its ideals of old class. Yes, the dimming canisters are curious, and the manufactured wilds are peculiar. But what interests her the most are the light transferring machines in the gardens. She knows of them, but has yet to see them firsthand. In a word, she is curious. The humdrum of a social gathering, so often repeated that this day feels like 1,000 identical others, is not something she wishes to dabble in long. Lives and creations are too fascinating to ever take either for granted. But as she approaches the doors to the front driveway, as her fingers slip upon the wood with the grand handles before her, she knows innately that there's nothing past there, nothing for her. In the entire world there is nowhere else she could be. Her place is not in the meadows, admiring mechanisms. It is in the sitting room with the husband-to-be. Outside is only an idea, a fruitless, ephemeral concept that is not a favorable realization. Dropping her hand, she turns and stands below the chandelier, each of its shards showing an image of somewhere else in the world. At this moment, shifting, always, and speaking of places she cannot go. Fading. Almost celestial illumination hangs around the fixture, giving this place and that object a too unreal quality. Her eye, her lips, say nothing. She trudges back into the mansion with a small fire of discontent born within her. That was intense. I know there were some typos, not typos, but it speaks, I apologize. But you can see in the bottom corner, actually, that's the girl. Her name is Lavinia. And yeah, so that was just this little brief thing. I thought I'd make this a video. So like, subscribe, comment, and just overall, just have a wonderful day or wonderful night. Honestly, just stay smiling.